In this section, I'm going to show you how to test for head gaskets or a bad EGR cooler. Now, I'm assuming that you have the engine damage avoidance system already on your vehicle and it's been going off. The only other thing that you're going to need is a pair of pliers, and your Hero kit will come in a box such as this. Basically what the Hero kit amounts to is a pressure gauge. We have them go up to 15. The actual cap pressure release is 16, which is just past the 15. But I like the 15 because of the range of motion in the needle as we drive. We want to see the movement of the needle. Now the T is installed at this spot on your coolant systems. Very quick and easy installation. Make sure that your coolant cap and pressure are released before you take this clamp loose. We don't want anybody to get burnt or hurt here. So now take your pliers, remove the clamp. It's so easy I can do it with one hand and work the camera with the other. Now that you have this installed, we're ready to close the hood. You can just leave your pliers sitting right here because you're going to need them to take it back off and you won't have to hunt them this way. Now run the hose right here by the headlight, in between the grill and the headlight, because when you drop the hood, see, this way when you drop the hood it doesn't pinch the hose. Take the hose and run it underneath the windshield wiper and through the window, and I like to hang it over the visor so that I can see it without taking my eyes off the road. Don't put on your windshield wipers while you're doing this, because it's going to snatch that hose and take the gauge and fling it around inside here and probably tear something up. Also, be careful getting in and out of the truck. So now you have the gauge right here in front of you when you're sitting in the truck, and you can watch it as you go down the road. And make sure you save your box so that you can return the Hero kit and get your deposit back. What we're going to do here as we drive the truck is that we're going to put a load on the engine and see how the gauge reacts to that. And if there's a sudden spike in pressure, this is the type of pressure spike that would cause the engine damage avoidance system to go off. And in this truck we do have a head gasket failure, and we're going to show you what happens during a head gasket failure. Now, if you do have an EGR cooler failure, you will see white smoke coming out of your tailpipe. It's very unusual with just a head gasket failure for you to have coolant coming out your tailpipe. Usually that only happens from an EGR cooler failure. So we start off at 0 psi, crank the truck up, and then we drive it. Okay, it's common and a normal operating procedure for, to run around anywhere between 4 and 5 psi under load. Okay, so now we put a load on the truck. You can see the gauge moving very quickly up. Okay. That's what a head gasket failure looks like. An overpressurization of the system. Alright, now one of the best ways to test your head gasket is to find a good hill. A good hill with a trailer is even better. I got my favorite hill right here near the shop. I like to go on and I get it up to 3rd gear and then I hammer it up this whole hill. You can see that the pressure's just climbing. Right on past 15 right there. Now the cap will start to burp off. That coolant cap is working exactly as it should. Releasing pressure at 16 psi. That's exactly the way it's supposed to work. So now that we've determined we got a head gasket problem, let me give you a couple things you need to think about here. Okay, you're going to spend some money. If you try to cut corners trying to fix head gaskets in a 6-liter, you're going to end up costing yourself 3 times as much as if you just did it right the first time. Number 1, go look at my bulletproof video. Okay, look at the bulletproof video. You're going to pay to go on the Master Mechanic series to see this video, but it's worth it $99. Make sure that a reputable machine shop checks your cylinder heads for cracks. Make sure that the surfacing is done with a precision piece of machinery, not those little wheels, because you're going to come back and have me redo them again, okay? In fact, probably 40% of the head gasket jobs that we do are redos. The ones that have already been done by somebody else and within the past year or so, and they've come to me because they weren't torqued correctly, because they didn't machine the heads correctly, because they had a crack somewhere. Unfortunately, that seems to be a very common thing. The way you determine you have an EGR cooler failure is to leave the system pressurized. Shut the truck off, walk away for an hour, come back and crank it. If you get big clouds of white smoke, then you have an EGR cooler failure. This is the procedure that I use every single day to diagnose head gaskets. This is why I made the Hero Kit, so that you can order it, have it on your doorstep the next day if you want to pay the extra shipping, and you can go out and do what I just did right here and find out exactly what it is that's wrong with your truck. Of course, if you determine you need head gaskets, or if you'd like to have your truck bulletproof, please feel free to call us at 770-931-4070, and we'd be happy to schedule for an appointment so that we can take a look at your truck and make a recommendation and a quote of what it would cost to repair it.